Hello everyone, my name is Denzel Detweiler, and today we're going to be going over my voiceover script for the movie Moonlight in 2016. So Moonlight isn't really just a story about growing up, even though that is what it is, but it's a coming of age story, which you can't have a coming of age story without becoming, right? So it follows Kyron, who's a young black guy who's trying to navigate his identity, find love, and confront his own masculinity, which I feel like a lot of younger guys do have to do in today's day and age. So in this, we're kind of focusing on the sound, and the sound does matter. Every sound and every silence in the film reflects that journey, kind of how the emotion hides behind the stillness. So in this reimagining, I've kind of took 3 scenes from Moonlight soundtrack for more of like a Gen Z audience, using some of my personal favorite songs that carry the same vulnerability and isolation, but more through the textures of how I think I would use it. Anyway, let's get started. So for scene 1, I picked the beach scene, which takes place where Kyron and Kevin kind of share their first moment of connection, which is a mix of fear, desire, and peace. The scene takes place around 52 minutes and 40 seconds for reference. So originally, Nicholas Bertel, the score kind of creates like a quiet tenderness, but I wanted to add something to that, make it feel more like in tune with the ocean. And I decided to replace it with Sunsets by Cigarettes After Sex, which kind of transforms the moment into like almost a hazy dream that's like soft, slow, and infinite. And I think the reverb like guitars and the whispered vocals, which the whispered vocals take up a large part of the song, and it almost feels like the ocean where it's steady, endless, and it's pretty intimate. It's an intimate song. And the lyrics, and I quote, "It's so sweet knowing that you love me," kind of echo what Kyron can't really say out loud. And it's like a growing of age story. We kind of all had that moment where like you want to show appreciation for the person that loves you, but you're a little too embarrassed to say it out loud because of social stigma. So for Gen Z, I do think that this sound kind of speaks the language of emotional subtlety, where like love is a feeling that you can kind of just feel and float in, not something that you have to declare. Anyway, I think that Sunsets turns this scene from first love into first peace and acceptance. And the next scene is Kyron's transformation, which takes place around an hour and 11 minutes, give or take. So this is where we see like, after a time skip, right? We see Kyron after years later. He's not really the same person. He's like quote unquote black, for better words. He's hardened by life and isolation, either due to social stigmas and racism. So this score is kind of like a warped and distant score, which kind of shows the weight of his past over that time skip. And I chose the clip. It's a lesser known song, but it's called 9 by Dean Blunt and Panda Bear. And this transformation almost becomes like a colder dreamlike state, right? There's not that much, like there's a minimal beat to it almost. And there's these detached vocals that seem kind of out of place, and there's a looping melody, which sort of gives it like a surreal flavor. Like, while his body's there, his mind and his soul are somewhere else, because he's just hardened by life. And I don't really think that this song is like, while Kyron is a strong person, the song really isn't meant to glorify his strength. It sort of like exposes like how lonely he is, right? So for Gen Z, I do think that this moment resonates as like the performance of toughness, kind of like how we all like have our own shell that we hide behind, a quiet pain while trying to feel composed. And I think picking the song 9 makes the scene feel like not really a victory, but it's more haunting, right? And I do think that this song and that moment from Moonlight makes it extra more fitting for Gen Z. And the final scene that I picked, scene 3, the reunion at the diner, and this scene takes place around 1 hour and 27 minutes, give or take. So this happens when Kyron eventually reunites with Kevin at the diner, and sort of time slows down again. The original score by the composer uses like, I think it's like some original piano music to create a sense of warmth and nostalgia. I decided to replace it with one of my favorite songs called Treehouse by Alex G and Emily Asina, which turns the moment into something more fragile and human. It definitely feels like one of those lo-fi harmonies, and it has those soft back and forth vocals with like a man and a woman to kind of mirror Kyron and Kevin's emotional tension, right? So 2 voices reaching towards each other, but they don't really know how to connect with each other, which is very like, that's a real thing. It's not necessarily a problem, but it's something that happens, right? So the intimacy of the song makes the scene feel like smaller and real. So when we're in the diner, the idea is like it's just them, and it's like we're eavesdropping on something important and sacred, right? And for Gen Z, I think that Treehouse embodies love as something more imperfect, uncertain, but still very personal, right? It's not really supposed to be like a cinematic frame thing, right? It's just human. Anyway, so the 3 tracks that I picked, I think redefine Moonlight without really changing its core elements, right? So we have Sunsets, which kind of gives us a tenderness, and the 9 kind of exposes the changes that go on throughout your life. And then Treehouse, I think it like restores a connection and makes it feel like it hits a little close to home, right? So together, I think they trace the rhythm of Kyron's life from being silent to pure survival to just accepting this is who I am. And I definitely think for a Gen Z audience, this soundtrack speaks more with texture and emotion through the feeling of just trying to exist in a world that doesn't always allow it, when you have to just struggle through. So Kyron's story still asks the same question, a question that many people, including myself, have to ask today. Who am I, and when do I finally get to choose?